safe and they are investigating. A Pennsylvania Catholic deacon is under fire for a social media comment about Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Deacon George Garber wrote, "Send her back to Mudtown," in response to a post calling Omar garbage. The Harrisburg Diocese condemned the remark and says it's addressing the matter. And Beyonce is returning to the Met Gala for the first time in a decade. She'll co-chair the May 4th event alongside Venus Williams, Nicole Kidman, and Anna Wintour. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers had some defensive issues last night at Crypto.com against a young and very good San Antonio Victor Wembanyama. San Antonio still dominated the Lakers for a 132-119 win. The Lakers were down by 20 in the third quarter. Luka and LeBron had productive nights, but it didn't make a difference. Luka finished with a game-high 35 points. LeBron had 19 points, 15 rebounds, and 8 assists. The Clippers are back in action tonight in Houston. The Clippers have only 2 wins since November 14th. Congratulations to WNBA star A'ja Wilson. The Las Vegas Aces Center was named Associated Press Female Athlete of the Year. Wilson led Las Vegas to their 3rd WNBA championship in 4 years. She led the league in scoring in block shots last season, 23.4 points per game and 2.3 block shots. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Celebrate the soul of the holidays and support Altadena and Pasadena. Join us on Monday, December 15th, 7 p.m. inside the Bram Goldsmith Theater at the Wallace in Beverly Hills for Soul of the Holidays, a joyful night of Motor City Soul, gospel, and holiday classics featuring an 18-piece band, all-star vocalists, and community choirs, all in support of the Black LA Relief and Recovery Fund. This performance comes at a pivotal time for many in Altadena and Pasadena. This is their first holiday season since the devastating Altadena Eden Canyon fire, which destroyed homes and community spaces. While the physical losses are immense, the power of community remains, and your attendance directly supports recovery, resilience, and renewal. So, be sure to join us Monday, December 15th, 7 p.m. inside the Bram Goldsmith Theater at the Wallace in Beverly Hills for Soul of the Holidays, benefiting survivors of the Altadena Eden Canyon fire. For ticket information, just log on to ticketsatthewallace.org. That's ticketsatthewallace.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580 and the Black Freedom Fund.
It's Thursday, top of the second hour, so it is time for another conversation with Dr. Cornel West. He chooses his walk-on song every Monday and Thursday, and he's got war on his mind today. Hey, Doc, how are you, sir?
My dear brother, always a joy to hear your voice. We slipping into darkness, brother. That's what the American Empire has been doing for decades. It's getting darker and darker every day.
Yeah. We were just talking about that with Barbara McQuaid in our first hour about how in the name of national security, We are being denied all kinds of information, and we are being left in the dark day by day, Doc.
That's exactly. No, I was picking up on those last words that you said to our dear sister. I said, isn't that the truth? You know, Jimi Hendrix gave his last public performance with War at Ronnie Scott's in London on September the 16th, 1970. He would be dead a day and a half after. He was slipping in the darkness, but we'll never forget him. Lonnie Jordan and War, beginning in Long Beach, California, have been setting the world on fire. You remember The World is the Ghetto?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes, brother. They've been telling the truth in sound, brother.
Doc is right. This democracy, or this experiment in democracy, as we call it, I often say we have a Madisonian framework for it. We ain't quite perfected it yet. But our democracy is slipping into darkness day after day. And the pace of that slippage has picked up in the era of Donald Trump. I'll leave it there. I'm glad Doc is here today because the timing of his presence is propitious given this report that just dropped, and I want to spend the rest of this half hour with Dr. West talking about this new report from RootsAction. Now, let me just give me a minute or two here to set this up, and I promise after I set it up, I will shut up and let Doc run it for the rest of the half hour.
Take your time, my brother.
Man. So we're waiting, as I said earlier, we're waiting on the official report. It's called an after-action review from the Democratic National Committee. They do this every presidential cycle. It's been a year. I don't know what's taking so long. Maybe they don't want to confront the reality. But the DNC has yet to put out its after-action review of the November 2024 election. I had Jamie Harrison on this program earlier this week, asked some tough questions of him when he was here, former DNC chair. Ken Martin, the current chair, was on here not too long ago. We'll get him back on again, perhaps when they release this report. But in the interim, a progressive group called RootsAction has released its report on the 2024 presidential election. It's called Autopsy, How Democrats Lost the White House. Let me read for you very quickly here a 3-paragraph executive summary, and then I want to identify the 5 main reasons that RootsAction suggests, after all the research they have done for the last year, why Harris failed in this campaign. Here's the executive summary from RootsAction, and you can find this online yourself. Just go to RootsAction. You'll find their website. The report again is called Autopsy, How Democrats Lost the White House. RootsAction report on the 2024 presidential election. You can find it online. All right, here we go. Here's the executive summary. Why and how did Kamala Harris lose the 2024 presidential race? How can Democrats learn from this preventable loss, underline that word, preventable loss, and turn the tide in 2026 and beyond? Even as this November's election saw numerous hopeful Democratic victories, most notably the remarkable wins of Democratic Socialists Joy Mondani and Katie Wilson as mayors of New York City and Seattle, there remain critical lessons the Democrats must learn from the 2024 election to avert future electoral disasters. This report provides a comprehensive analysis examining these critical questions, sifting through, Sifting through a wealth of evidence, this autopsy points to several leading causes for Harris's defeat and President Trump's disastrous return to the White House. Our analysis of extensive election data focuses on a combination of unpredictable circumstances and disastrous choices by the Harris campaign and the Democratic National Committee that enabled a narrow Trump win and majority legislative power for Republicans in Congress until at least 2027. Our report's purpose is twofold: to illuminate why the Democrats lost and to help propel the party toward a different approach and result in the future. Without a full and honest accounting of the Harris campaign and the Democratic Party's myriad failures, there can be little realistic hope of defeating Trumpist authoritarianism in the future. That is the executive summary, why they did this report. Now, these are the top 5 reasons, the main reasons, for Harris's failure according to RootsAction. And we will let Cornel West take it after this. I'll pass the baton to him when we come forward. Number 1, voter disenchantment. Number 2, Biden's betrayal. Number 3, abandoning the working class base. Number 4, losing young voters. When we come forward, we'll unpack all 5 of those reasons: voter disenchantment, Biden's betrayal, abandoning the working class base, the Gaza effect, losing young voters. Those are the 5 main reasons for Harris's failure, according to this brand new report out now from RootsAction. Dr. Cornel West, in his own words, when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
From the Merck Park with love, this is Tavis Smiley.
Celebrate good times. KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates Malik Books on celebrating 35 years in business.
It's a celebration.
Malik Books proudly houses one of the largest African American and diverse children's books in the nation. This is the perfect time to pick up holiday reads, meaningful gifts, and to support literacy in our community. For 35 years, Malik Books has stood strong in the Black Book Revolution, uplifting stories that heal, inspire, and transform. One reader at a time. Change your thoughts, change your life. Books are the gift that keeps giving. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, congratulations to Malik Books on 35 years of culture, pride, and community.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you can receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
Nugget bells, nuggets all the way.
Hi, I'm Kylie.
I'm John.
And I'm Harrison.
And a little thing we love about the 30-count Chick-fil-A nuggets
is sharing them when we cut down the Christmas tree.
We will pack the car with gifts, and of course, we go and pick up our family's favorite nuggets.
Every nugget is tasty times quadrillion.
And we get all the sides.
Yeah, the ooey gooey mac and cheese is a big hit.
Share the nuggets, share the joy. Order the 30-count Chick-fil-A nuggets on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a black and brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
Lane Trust Daily in the Merck Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Dr. Cornel West, who's here every Monday and Thursday at the top of the second hour. So again, in case you just tuned in, I have laid out with some detail this new report from RootsAction, progressive organization, who have put out their own report about what happened last year around this time. It's called Autopsy, How Democrats Lost the White House, and they have identified, again, 5 major reasons why Harris failed in this campaign. We are yet waiting the DNC's action report, its after-action review. But the 5 issues, Dr. West, that they have identified: voter disenchantment, Biden's betrayal, abandoning the working class base, the Gaza effect, and losing young voters. I want to hear your opinions, your thoughts on all 5 of these, but I will let you choose where you want to go. So we'll play a game of Jeopardy here. I'll be the black Alex Trebek, and you pick where you want to start, and we'll move through. So which do you choose first, Doc, of these 5?
Well, I want to say that all 5 of them are the symptoms, but they don't get at the cause.
Okay.
So that it becomes misleading. You see, the fundamental cause is the spineless leadership that lacks moral courage and political vision. So when Martin Luther King Jr. said, if you don't deal with poverty, if you don't deal with militarism at home as well as abroad, if you don't deal with the racism, and if you don't deal with the lack of character among too many of your leaders, you're going to be slipping into darkness. Mm-hmm. So when you look at this report, what do you see? Oh, you see these various symptoms of the Gaza effect. Gaza is not no effect. It's a lack of moral courage to say something about genocide. Mm-hmm. The same we see this with the gunboat American imperial policy with Venezuela right now. The Democrats right now just voted for a defense budget that gave Trump $8 billion more than he wanted for the military. Mm-hmm. And yet they claim to somehow be dealing with voters being feeling that they have no choice. No. The Democratic Party is tied to big money, big donors, and big benefactors, and big lobbyists that don't allow for the generation of leaders who have moral courage and political vision. And all 5 of those that they know, and I appreciate that, but you notice that you could have said Hillary Clinton rather than Kamala Harris. Both of those mediocre sisters are subject to the same critique. They didn't have moral courage. They didn't have a political vision, so they lost the working class. So they spent so much time with Republicans and the Lynn Cheneys and so forth and so on. It's the same thing, my brother. And I'm sure you probably saw the interview with Brother Ezra Klein that Brother Gavin Newsom had the other day. Mm-hmm. Same thing. I'm spending time with Steve Bannon. I'm spending time with the MAGA people. I'm trying to learn something from what they can teach me. Nothing wrong with that. But if you go in with no vision, all you got is an ad hoc strategy to try to win an election rather than a larger vision to how to save a country. Somewhere I read where there is no vision, the people perish. The Democratic Party needs to understand when it has no vision, the party perishes. As Norman Solomon says in his new book, there's a blue road to Trump because Trump wins precisely because the Democratic Party is so mediocre and milquetoast. And when there's no opposition, people either pull out completely. That was some of the folks who voted for me in the election. Or they go to the alternative, which is neo-fascist Trump. And what do? They get disappointed there, too. You know Trump ain't going to come through with all of his cruelty, all of his meanness, all of his transactional leadership. And the people themselves become even more helpless, become more impotent, and slip into darkness more intensely, my brother.
No, I hear everything you're saying, and don't disagree with any of it. With regard to Gavin Newsom, let me just put a finer point on that. He gets more and more disappointing every day. I hate to say it. But it's so real. It's so true. He gets more and more disappointing. I mean, the ways in which, it's not even just a pivot. We use the word pivot all the time in our discourse these days. Gavin ain't pivoting. It's a wholesale sellout. And it's just getting more and more annoying by the day to watch the way in which he is desperately trying to get off the ground his campaign for the White House. That Ezra Klein conversation was hard to watch, man.
It was hard to read because he's been touted now as this major towering Abraham Lincoln-like figure, and you say, are people losing their mind? Good God Almighty! No. Is that the best that the Democratic Party can put forward? If that's the case, we're in very deep trouble.
And the sad part for me is, I've said this before, I don't see a single red state in which Gavin Newsom can be competitive. I just don't see one. I don't see a swing state where Gavin Newsom, based on his track record, can be competitive. Now we're a few years off. But my point is that you keep doing all this capitulating and all this bending over and all this behind kissing. You keep doing all of that, and at the end, it doesn't yield you anything. Because I don't believe the folk that don't like Gavin Newsom or the folk who are in the MAGA crowd are going to be in any way convinced that Gavin Newsom can be trusted. So that you do all this to what end is my question. You're doing all this capitulating to what end? I don't get it. And then again, I do. He wants to be president. He's willing to do and say what it takes. So I ain't naive about it. I ain't stuck on stupid. But anyway, I digress on that. I want to come back.
And it's not a personal thing at all. It has to do with a Democratic Party that thinks it can generate its best, and somebody like Brother Newsom, please, my God, my God.
I want to circle back to this Gaza thing. You mentioned a couple of these 5 points, and I hear your critique, and your critique notwithstanding, I do want to give you a chance to just go a little deeper on a couple of these things. So I want to start with the Gaza effect, because you mentioned that. What this report points out, and again, you knew this on the front side. You said this all along during your campaign. But the reason why these reports matter, I don't want to just poo-poo this thing. The reason why these reports matter is because at the end of the day, what people look at is data. And sometimes there are people who can't even be convinced unless you've got some data points you can roll out. And so the data that can be found in this Roots Action report underscores what many of us believed or felt throughout the Harris campaign. And one of these 5 points again is about Gaza. You hear Doc say it's not a Gaza effect. I take his point. It's about the inability to call it what it is, to call a thing a thing. But there's ample evidence that critical supporters in Michigan and elsewhere, because of the campaign's failure, they argue to shift, or here's the part I want to get to, because of her campaign's failure to shift or even signal a shift, a potential shift in policy on Israel and Palestine. Here's my question. Why do you think Kamala Harris, why did she hold so firm to that Biden-Harris position on Israel and Gaza and never even get around to signaling a potential shift in policy on Israel and Palestine when she knew this was a very serious issue for her?
No, but that's a powerful question, because in her recent book now she says, I really should have been more flexible.
That's right.
I really should have been more courageous. But everybody knows it was that big APEC lobby money on the one hand, and on the other hand, her refusal to listen to voices. There was a Palestinian sister who supported her unequivocally, who asked to speak at the Democratic National Convention. You were there. I was there. Brother Dwight McKee was still alive. There in Chicago. They wouldn't even allow this woman to speak, and yet she had Republicans speaking every day. So that it's both money, but it's not just money, though. You see, it's also lack of courage.
Yeah. The other issue I want to jump to, abandoning the working class base. Again, you were talking to this base directly during your campaign. Others of us who were not on the campaign trail but sitting in radio studios were raising this issue every single day because we could see that they were afraid to say the word poverty. They were afraid to talk directly to the poor. Reverend Barber, on this program any number of times during the campaign, making this very point: Democrats can't win this election if they abandon the working class base. This Roots Action report finds that with millions of Americans already disenchanted and desperate due to inflation, the Harris campaign, quoting from their report, lost its essential Democratic base by focusing on courting Republicans, kowtowing to corporate donors' interests, and failing to confront the role of corporate greed in escalating inflation. So, everybody sees now that they abandoned this base. No naivete here, but why in real time could they not see that if they didn't appeal to the working class base, as opposed to trying to deal to those MAGA Republicans by hanging out with Liz Cheney, they were going to lose this thing, Doc?
Well, just they were listening to the wrong consultants, beginning with her brother Tony. I think he's West. He could be my cousin. God bless him and his family. But he listened to the consultants. So let's say, the people who I have, love and respect for. William Barber. He could not even gain a foothold or a voice at the Democratic National Convention either. Nina Turner, who I love and respect, but had a show with her on your channel. She's in the Democratic Party as progressive. They wouldn't listen to her either. So the progressives who are on the edges of the party, critical of the party, they're not listened to, and yet after the party loses, you get a major report that says they were right. They should have been listened to. But I just don't think the Democratic Party has the capacity to break from its corporate domination, its militaristic domination, and to tell the truth about genocide in Gaza, tell the truth about vicious attacks of boats in Venezuela, to tell the truth about AFRICOM in Africa, to tell the truth about the militaristic policies of the American empire. Democratic Party just doesn't have the capacity, nor does it have the capacity to hit the issue of poverty head on the way Brother Martin wanted us to hit it head on.
Yeah. Voter disenchantment. And this report argues that this may have been the campaign's biggest failure. They lost, Harris did, a whopping 6.8 million voters who supported Biden in 2020. I know Dr. West doesn't think much of Joe Biden. I get that. But the point is still a data point we need to wrestle with. The Harris campaign lost 6.8 million voters who supported Biden in 2020, and that proved obviously extremely critical in a close election like this. And the report suggests that may have been the biggest failure, Doctor. The voters were just disenchanted in this campaign, by this campaign.
No, I think that's true. They were eager for a new alternative. The neoliberalism was collapsing before their very eyes. Their paychecks were getting lower and lower. The inflation was escalating. Their sense of feeling as if their children would be able to live lives better than themselves was getting worse. And they were duped by Trump's neo-fascist alternative to the collapsing Democratic Party's neoliberalism.
Yeah.
And we who are so-called progressive or on the left or whatever, I mean, you and I just Christians trying to bear witness. You know what I mean?
That's it.
Bringing in all this little stuff. But let that stuff go.
Yeah.
We love poor people. We love black people. We love working people. We love people who are colonized, dominated, subjugated, degraded. We in solidarity with them, no matter what, on moral and spiritual grounds, and we're going to go down swinging. Now, when you look at it in that way, you say, well, what happens then? People get duped by Trump. More people move in his direction. And what's happening now? His popularity is declining.
Yep. No question. Fourth reason, they argue, RootsAction does, that Democrats lost the White House, is Biden's betrayal. We ain't got to spend no more time on that. We all know that. We've talked about that ad infinitum, ad nauseum, that Biden didn't pass the baton until too late in the process. But the fifth and final reason I want to let Dr. West respond to is that they're losing young voters. There's extensive evidence that shows a huge drop-off in both turnout and Democratic support among young voters aged 18 to 29. You teach young people every day at Union in New York City. What say you about this problem that Democrats have, not just being able to appeal to white working class voters, but apparently they're slipping into the darkness when it comes to losing young voters, Doc?
Yeah, I mean, young voters are looking for politicians who are real, authentic, down to earth, tell the truth, and they provide some kind of hope, because so many young folks these days are dealing with forms of nihilism, of hopelessness, of meaninglessness. Even some of them wrestling with lovelessness, and they thought that the authenticity of a Trump. Now, Trump is an authentic gangster. Yeah. People have to recognize that. He's not the garden variety politician, and so his gangsterism is authentic. It's just a gangsterism that is just so ugly because it's tied to so much cruelty and meanness and, of course, all of the profanity, not just in the language. Nothing wrong with profane language when Richard Pryor works it through with rhythm, but his profane language is tied to a cruelty. That's a different thing, and it has effect on the culture across the board. But it has an authenticity about it. Democratic Party doesn't have leaders for the most part who have that kind of authenticity in the positive sense. The authenticity of a Harold Washington, the authenticity of Barbara Jordan, the authenticity of a Jesse Jackson Sr.
No, it is a postmortem that is worth reading, and there'll be a number of these while we wait for the official Democratic Party's review, their after-action review yet to come out yet. But the one from RootsAction is out. I encourage you to read it and decide for yourself whether you agree with the 5 reasons they've identified why the Harris campaign failed. Voter disenchantment, Biden's betrayal, abandoning working class voters, the Gaza effect, losing young voters. But all that said, we are slipping into the darkness. And somebody better arrest this development. Dr. West, as always, man, appreciate your insights. I'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Love you, my brother. Stay strong, man.
Helping to stretch your moral and political imagination. This is Tavis Smiley.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The Senate will vote on a Democratic plan to extend ACA tax credits for 3 years. Senator Rick Scott wants the credits replaced with Trump Health Freedom accounts.
These are clients having to choose between whether or not they're going to pay their rent or they're going to be able to pay for their health insurance premiums.
Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz warns 200,000 Floridians could see double-digit cost hikes. Mayor Karen Bass is urging the LA City Council to approve $4.4 million for the LAPD this week to avoid a hiring freeze. Bass says the funding would secure January's academy class and allow the department to hire 410 officers before the fiscal year ends in June. And LAPD is staying quiet on singer David, real name David Burke, and his alleged role in the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Chief Jim McDonald says speaking out could jeopardize the investigation. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and foundation.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers had some defensive issues last night at Crypto.com against a young and very good San Antonio Spurs team. Without star center Victor Wembanyama, San Antonio still dominated the Lakers for a 132-119 win. The Lakers were down by 20 in the third quarter. Luka and LeBron had productive nights, but it didn't make a difference. Luka finished with a game-high 35 points. LeBron had 19 points, 15 rebounds, and 8 assists. The Clippers are back in action tonight in Houston. The Clippers have only 2 wins since November 14th. Congratulations to WNBA star A'ja Wilson. The Las Vegas Aces Center was named Associated Press Female Athlete of the Year. Wilson led Las Vegas to their 3rd WNBA championship in 4 years. She led the league in scoring and block shots last season, 23.4 points per game and 2.3 block shots. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This holiday season, KBLA Talk 1580 wishes you and yours joy, peace, and prosperity. As we celebrate with family and friends, we're already looking forward to an exciting first quarter, packed with must-attend events to kick off the new year just right. In January, join us for our inaugural Brotherhood Brunch, bringing together community leaders, change makers, and everyday people for inspiration and connection. February means it's time for our signature Black History Month luncheon, a powerful celebration you won't want to miss. And in March, Women's History Month, we're once again hosting our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium and Luncheon, addressing the issues that matter most inside our community. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, happy holidays. Stay tuned for more details on these incredible upcoming events. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice, your community, your power.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org. Paid for by government.com. Did you know the United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time? Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6 at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms. I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
We thank Dr. Cornel West for showing up today, as he does every Monday and Thursday, top of the second hour. And now we are grateful to be in conversation with the Reverend Willie Williams, chair of the Emmett Till Interpretive Center in Sumner, Mississippi, to talk about their latest acquisition. It is the barn where the black teenager from Chicago was lynched, tortured, and killed 70 years ago. Reverend Williams, good to have you on the program. How are you today, sir?
I'm fine, Tavis. How you doing today?
I'm always great, and I'm always good when I'm in conversation with any Mississippian. So the state of my birth. So I'm delighted to have you on this program. Let me just start by asking you to tell us about the Emmett Till Interpretive Center in Sumner, Mississippi. Tell me about the center.
Okay, the center is a place where we are doing the work to commemorate what happened in 1955 after 50 years of silence. Emmett Till was a teenager who came down from Chicago to Mississippi, and he was murdered. And the 50 years of silence just allowed this story to be hidden. And 2005, 2006, the late Jerome Little was a county supervisor. He was the first African-American county supervisor in Tallahatchie County, and the trial was held here in Sumner in Tallahatchie County, and the body was taken out of the Tallahatchie River. But so we began with a commission of 18 peoples as a board, 9 African-Americans and 9 white, and we got in a room and we began this work. And so in 07, we was able to go with a public apology, and that broke the silence of the tragedy of what happened to a teenager in 1955 when he entered into a store in Money, Mississippi, where he was visiting his uncle. He was with his cousin, Wheeler Parker, and Simeon Wright, and I guess maybe, broke the code of the Jim Crow, law that was prevalent in the Mississippi at that time, and so. What a tragedy! It just was a tragedy.
You mentioned no question about that. You mentioned his public apology a moment ago. For those who didn't hear about that and don't recall that, tell us more about that public apology that you referenced a moment ago.
Yeah, the public apology was where nothing had ever been mentioned about Emmett's murder. Nothing at all. The family suffered tremendously. There was injustice, and so there was nothing never said publicly to the family about the murder and about the injustice. So in 2007, the Till family was invited to come to Sumner, Mississippi. I was able to meet Simeon Wright and Wheeler Parker and some of the other family members.
Sure.
And I feel like that was a moment of breaking the silence and position ourselves to speak the truth and to begin our work as it relates to racial reconciliation, healing, and justice for Mamie Till and her son, Emmett Till. So, so that was, go ahead.
Yeah, let me ask you let me just set this up for a second. I want to ask you about the mood and the spirit of this particular area in Mississippi, all these. And I asked this question, Reverend Williams, because I traveled this country, of course, over the course of my career, and there was a time many years ago when I would go to Dallas, and I could still feel this sort of dark cloud hanging over the city, because they knew that was the place where JFK had been murdered. President Kennedy was assassinated. I felt the same way many times going to Memphis, feeling this cloud that many residents, this burden that many residents still, I think, were bearing, because that was the place where they killed MLK, Dr. King. So there are ways in which these spirits and these powers can be pervasive in places where important people have lost lives, and important battles have been fought. You take my point. I've been to Gettysburg in Pennsylvania and felt the mood in that city about being Gettysburg. So I just offer that as a frame to ask you, all these years later, do you sense a spirit, a move, any kind of dark cloud 70 years later? Because this is where Emmett Till, this area is where Emmett Till was murdered, or are they kind of moved past that at this point?
Well, I think for the people who live here, the people who live here may see it through a different lens, but we still have the memory, and I can understand, people who come here to visit, and when you do sense the darkness, because the landscape and everything, the plantations and all the flat land, the culture itself, and I think that's just part of this demographic and what happened in this space and place. And for example, the Graball Landing is one of the sites that was part of the National Monument. And that's where we had some of the signs that was shot up, some of the signs that was put up to commemorate Emmett, and you do sense some of the heaviness and some of that, but at the same time, I think we have to, if we want to move forward, we have to be able to put it in context. In 1955, what goes on in Mississippi, even in this area today, it couldn't have happened in 1955. It wouldn't have happened. What you're saying, and I done had some of those same experiences going other places, but I think the apology on the courthouse step in Sumner, for me, what I experienced that day was a light coming on and saying we're moving in the right direction to be able to meet Wheeler Parker and Simeon and to be able to go. I grew up in a little community, Minter City, and it was about 10 miles from Money, Mississippi, where the store was.
Sure.
I grew up going in and out of that store, not knowing what had happened when the store was still, even though the murderers no longer had any, control of the store, but just the fact that what happened at that place, and I didn't really know. I didn't know the history.
You mentioned that store. I have been a collector of all kinds of artifacts over the course of my career. I'm an art collector. People come to our building here in Leimert Park in LA to visit or for meetings, and they just are amazed by our art collection. But I've been collecting art for many, many years. So I collect art, but also collect artifacts and memorabilia. And one of the pieces in my collection is some of the wood from that store. That store is no longer there, as you know. But I've got some planks of wood from that store in Money, Mississippi, where it all went down with Emmett Till. So I've got some of that in some of the wood from that store in my actual collection. Having said that, when we come forward with Reverend Willie Williams, I want to get to the sweet spot of this conversation. Although there's nothing sweet about what happened to Emmett, so maybe that's the wrong phrase, wrong word. But the Emmett Till Interpretive Center has acquired the barn where Emmett was lynched, tortured, and killed 7 years ago while visiting from his home in Chicago. We'll talk about this barn when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
From California to the Carolinas, everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
An official message from Medicare.
Couple more minutes, and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year, I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
If a Lenovo computer for your business is on your holiday list, don't shop around. Just go directly to the source, Lenovo.com. It's your last chance to get exclusive deals on the PCs you want for your business, like the ThinkPad X9 14 Aura Edition and Yoga 7i 2, where PCs are up to 35% off. That's Lenovo.com.
BET and PBS, the Tom Joyner Morning Show, and NPR, the cover of Jet and the cover of Time. Number 1 on the New York Times bestsellers list, 20 honorary doctorate degrees, a dozen NAACP Image Awards, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. From talk shows to talk radio, nobody's ever done it better. This is Tavis Smiley.
Check out the champagne. Everybody get glad.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates our own Keith Underwood, host of the weekend entertainment show Black in the Green Room, on his recent honor at the annual National Arts and Entertainment Journalism Awards. Keith received the First Place Award, presented by the Los Angeles Press Club, for his entertainment reporting, and we couldn't be prouder. Congratulations, Keith, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number and put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask me information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement. Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Sometimes you fail to fit in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed with Reverend Willie Williams, Sumner, Mississippi, and invited him on to share with us some information about this barn that they've acquired where Emmett Till was lynched, tortured, and killed 7 years ago. Reverend Williams, my time is getting tight. Tell me about this barn, sir.
Yes, sir. But the barn is a place where Emmett was murdered, and it was the secret history of a murder in Mississippi. And this place, and I grew up in the Mississippi Delta and had no idea, never heard of the barn, didn't even know where it was located. And about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe it was my first time going to the barn. And so I thought about what we ended our section a minute ago when you talked about the sweet spot. And this is a hard story. Facing history is hard, but I like that metaphor, the deep pain and what happened in Emmett, injustice, but you know, the beauty out of ashes is some of the work that we're trying to do as it relates to learning from history and to make sure we don't repeat it. So the barn, to me, one of our goals is that this barn become a sacred place to really honor the life of Emmett Till, where his blood was shedded. And so we are planning, you know, with great intensity. Wright Thompson, the author of the book The Barn, is a New York Times best-selling book, and I think a lot of people maybe have read it or reading it. But Tavis, I do want to mention the fact that in July the 25th, 2023, when President Biden designated the Emmett Till and Mamie Till Mosley National Monument with Wheeler Parker, and we was invited to the White House. When you mentioned the sweet spot, for me, that was so moving that Wheeler Parker, who was with Emmett on the train from Chicago to Mississippi, had to go back to Chicago without Emmett. And this man is in his 80s, just a jewel of a man. But to see him and witness Wheeler Parker introducing the President of the United States, full circle of all that he had been through, that was a moment. That was a sweet spot, I think, for me, just to be there to witness that.
History has a strange way of writing itself sometimes, and so I can hear it in your voice. You can only imagine what it must have felt like for him and all of y'all to be in that moment where you're being feted by the President of the United States, given all the pain and turmoil that was endured and people have lived with for all of these years. When we come forward in our remaining moments, I do want to ask what you all are going to do specifically with the barn now that you've acquired it. You're listening to Reverend Willie Williams on Tavis Smiley.
This is getting good. Yeah, man. Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and child care. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Roger and Tracy saved over $18,400. Cynthia was recovering from a family tragedy and saved over $10,300. If you are drowning in debt, then call Debt Blue. Debt Blue is a professional debt negotiation firm with over 20 years of experience helping people pay back a fraction of what they owe. Learn how to cut your debt up to half or maybe more. Be debt-free in 24 to 48 months, even with bad credit. With an A-plus rating from the BBB, you can rest easy knowing Debt Blue is going to deliver guaranteed debt reduction. Debt Blue offers a success guarantee. You pay nothing unless your debt is reduced or completely resolved. That's right. You now for significant debt relief and a free consultation. 800-200-8879. That's 800-200-8879. You don't have to declare bankruptcy. This program works if you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in debt. Call for your free consultation today. 800-200-8879. That's 800-200-8879.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada. Member FDIC.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley, Reverend Willie Williams, who's chair of the Emmett Till Interpretive Center in Sumner, Mississippi. They've acquired the barn where Emmett was lynched, tortured, and killed 70 years ago. They are a center that promotes restorative justice through public education, storytelling, and historic preservation. So, Reverend Williams, tell me what y'all attempt to. What do you intend to do with this barn now that you have it?
Well, thank you for asking, Tavis. One of the things that we're already doing annually since 2022, we have an annual memorial to commemorate the death of Emmett Till. And back in 2022, we had the first time anything ever been, acknowledged about his murder at the barn. We had a committal where we had a service, and it was so powerful. But our long-term goal is we have a 5-year plan that we are working toward because this is the first property that we as an organization has purchased with a generous donor, Chandra Ryan Foundation. So our plan is to, it will become a memorial to commemorate, Emmett's life and his death. And so by the 75th anniversary of Emmett's murder, the barn will be open as part of a larger unified memorial landscape for us. So we're planning on, and it's a hard site, but we feel like it's a site where it could be ground zero to develop a place where people can come and to be healed and be, they can grieve and be healed. So our goal is to do no harm. We want this space to really honor the life of Emmett and what happened. And so we're in the process with other organizations trying to help us, form this memorial, and we're looking forward to be a place where all peoples of all walks of life can come, and where we got to not allow our history to hinder us from our future as it relates to, because we can't go back and change the beginning, but we can start where we are and change the ending. So
and let me just say very quickly, I'm watching my time here. The historic preservation matters, and so I'm so delighted I was thrilled to read and to learn that this bond had been purchased. As you heard Reverend Williams say, he slid that in. Thanks to the generous support of a woman named Shonda Rhimes. I'm in L.A. I'm in Hollywood right now with this studio. This show emanates live from every day here in Los Angeles, and so we know Shonda Rhimes rather well. And what a blessing it is for the Emmett Till Interpretive Center to have been supported by a contribution from Shonda Rhimes to make sure they purchased this barn, which they will use now, again, for public education, for storytelling, for commemorating and celebrating the life of Emmett Till. Reverend Williams, I'm out of time, man. Thanks for dropping by to talk to me about this acquisition. I'm glad y'all have it, and I look forward to coming down to visit with you when it's up and running.
Well, I really appreciate you, Tavis, for inviting us, and may God continue to bless your ministry, and let's do this together.
Yes, sir.
God bless you.
And God bless you. Thank you for your time. More Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The Senate will vote on a Democratic plan to extend ACA tax credits for 3 years. Senator Rick Scott wants the credits replaced with Trump Health Freedom Accounts.
These are clients having to choose between whether or not they're going to pay their rent or they're going to be able to pay for their health insurance premiums.
Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz warns 200,000 Floridians could see double-digit cost hikes. Mayor Karen Bass is urging the LA City Council to approve $4.4 million for the LAPD this week to avoid a hiring freeze. Bass says the funding would secure January's academy class and allow the department to hire 410 officers before the fiscal year ends in June. And LAPD is staying quiet on singer David, real name David Burke, and his alleged role in the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Chief Jim McDonald says speaking out could jeopardize the investigation. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn's Colitis Foundation.